Olá meu povo, tudo bem? Hoje a gente tá aqui com o Danny, que é meu professor aqui na escola, e a gente vai falar sobre o Levante da Páscoa, que é a revolução que vai fazer 100 anos daqui a pouco na Irlanda, e ele tem um relacionamento especial com o tema. Por que você está interessado no tema?
Well, this year is the 100th anniversary of the Easter Rising. It was a rebellion by Irish Republicans against the British, and I suppose I'm interested mostly because my grandfather was involved. He had a role in the post office, the GPO, the General Post Office, which is where a lot of the rising took place.
Ok. Você pode dar uma ideia pra gente de como foi o background?
Well, it was 1916, World War I was happening. It was the middle of the First World War, and Britain was in the First World War, so the British Army was very exposed. You know, they were doing lots of things. So the reason for the rising at that time was because the British Army was busy. You know, they were fighting World War I in Germany. It was because of this they would be weak. You know, weaker because the army was fighting World War I. You know, they weren't thinking about Dublin. And the second reason is because one of the leaders of the rising, he believed that doing it at Easter was had extra meaning because of like rebirth, you know, like Jesus. He was a Catholic, and he thought that it would mean more if it happened at Easter because it would be like Jesus rising and the country rising.
Okay, so you are talking about Patrick Pearse?
That's it, yeah, Patrick Pearse. So Patrick Pearse, there's two main leaders. Patrick Pearse was the leader of the Irish Republican Brotherhood, who my grandfather was a member of as well. And then there was another organisation called the Citizens Army, Irish Citizens Army, which was led by a fellow called Connolly, James Connolly. But the two of them united for this rebellion. But they had slightly different angle of views. Like Pearse was was quite religious,
Okay.
And he believed that the church was important. Connolly was a socialist, so he wasn't religious.
Atheist,
at all.
maybe.
I don't know if he was atheist, but he definitely wasn't religious. You know, it wasn't about nothing to do with religion for him. It was all about the workers, and he didn't really care about Irishness or something like that. He just wanted like fair play.
Qual foi o evento mais importante do Levante?
Well, probably the most important event was after the rising, after they surrendered, the Irish rebels. They surrendered, and I think the British made a very big mistake, which most people agree, was that they executed all the leaders. So Patrick Pearse, Connolly, there was seven or eight leaders. All of them were killed, executed, except one, Eamon de Valera. There's one who wasn't executed because he had an American passport. But the fact that they all got executed made them martyrs. But after these people were executed, the rising became really, really big, and suddenly nationalism was more. People wanted independence, and then the way the British handled it badly, and that meant the Irish people supported the cause.
Como que terminou?
The rising. It ended. Lasted 1 week. It ended with around the GPO, the post office, on a Moore Street, a short street called Moore Street. The rebels were were in these little houses. They were knocking through the houses, and they were completely surrounded by British soldiers, and they surrendered. Yeah, they surrendered, and the leaders got executed. Everybody involved went to prison. For my grandfather, for example, there's a place called Ffrangog, it's called, it's in Wales. Most of anyone to do with the rising, the rebellion, was sent to this prison in Wales called Ffrangog. Yeah, that's where he met his wife as well. So it was called like it was a prison for like terrorists. Lots of people from that prison became politicians as well. And that's where everybody went. Yeah, the leaders all got executed and became martyrs, and everybody else, including my grandfather, were sent to prison. Lots of people from that prison would go on to become members of the Irish government and politicians and lots of very important people. A man called Michael Collins, who's probably the most famous. Yeah. He was involved in 1916, but he didn't really have a big role. But after all the leaders got killed, he kind of became the next leader. He was in the Ffrangog prison camp.
Como a ideia do documentário apareceu?
Well, my grandfather, he recorded a speech in 1978 about his role in 1916, and the speech was on a cassette, and I found this recording about maybe 5 years ago or something like that, and so my brother put some music to a little part of the speech. There's a part of the speech where he's talking about when he was in the GPO and he very nearly died because somebody took his gun, and he could have died. It's a very interesting story, and so my brother had an idea he wanted to play some music, so he put some music to this recording, to this speech, and then someone said it's very good but it needs pictures, so we decided to do animation for it as well. So now it's like a 5.5 minutes short film about my grandfather's role just in the GPO. One little small thing that happened to him. It's going very well. It's being shown in America in a film festival in California. It's going to be shown in Ireland in Dingle, which is a place in Kerry, where they show animated films. And it's also been nominated for an award in London at the Imperial War Museum in London. They have a little festival of short films. So it's going very well, yeah. It's been seen quite a lot of times now in different places, and we'll show it in Dublin as well soon.
Você pode dar conselho aí pra brasileirada aí que quer saber mais do assunto?
Well, if you're in Dublin, there's a place there's the National Museum, Collins Barracks, where you can see a lot of stuff about 1916. If you're not in Dublin, there's a couple of very good films about it. There's one called Michael Collins. There's another one called The Wind That Shakes the Valley. And there's quite a lot of documentaries you can find on YouTube and things like that. So quite a lot, and also this year, as we said, is the centenary, so there are quite a lot of things now especially being made about 1916. This year there will be a lot of things happening in Ireland. So if you were in Ireland in this 2016, you would see lots of things about the rising.
Okay, thank you, Danny, for your attention with the Brazilian audience.
Hello, Brazil.
Hello, Brasil. Gente, galera, aqui tá o Danny, professor de inglês. Tem tudo a ver com o assunto. E você sai da cadeira e tira essa bunda fétida da cadeira e vai pesquisar um pouco, principalmente se você tá em Dublin ou se você quer vir pra cá. Pesquisar um pouco sobre a história do Levante da Páscoa, que é muito interessante, e você pode aprender mais um montão de coisas. Certo, galera? Então...
Tá um dia.
Yeah! Muito bom, muito bom. Tô ligado. Nos vemos!
Okay, cool.